All right, all right, all right. Welcome to tonight's call, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Eric McKinley, and I am the Director of Program Development of National Business Builders. And tonight, I'm back in. I had to get my phone. Tonight, y'all, we are picking up where we left off. I apologize for what happened on Wednesday. On Wednesday night, there was a faux pas. It was my fault. I did not do what I was supposed to do, and I was having some technical difficulty as well. But take full responsibility for that. But as y'all already know, every Wednesday and Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are live and direct right here on Facebook Live. So we're broadcasting from a couple of different locations. You can hit us right here on National Business Builders page, or you can hit us on one of the panelists pages as well. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share this to them right quick. So as you jump on, do me a favor, like, share, and tag someone, okay? Like, share, and tag someone. And if you find something valuable, of value, or of interest, make sure you drop us a comment, but keep it classy. Keep it classy, all right? So, hey, listen, we're about to get started here. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna tag a couple more people. Don't judge me. And I got a new phone, y'all, so I'm kind of struggling right now. Let's see. I know I can search some people. There it is. I think it's right there. Okay. Yeah, I got a new phone, a new device, a new platform. So don't trip on me. I've been struggling with this thing, so I'm gonna make sure I get through this. Okay. I'm gonna tag a few more people, and we're gonna go ahead and tag some groups. And once I tag y'all will be able to do what y'all need to do, share it on y'all timeline, so on and so forth. And I think that's enough right there. Now I'm going to go ahead and tag some groups. So once again, guys, as you jump on, drop your city and state, like it, share it, and tag someone. I tagged the panel already. And I'm going to share it to a couple of groups because I truly believe that there's a lot of people who need to see this. Not just the people who I know want to see it, but there's some people who really need to see this information that we're going to be sharing tonight. So who we have on tonight, we got on our panel, we have Miss Quartina Trafford out of Huntsville, Alabama. She says Rocket City. We'll figure that out later on. Yeah, we'll figure it out later on, man. Rocket City. We got Mr. James Hall, JNC Financial Services LLC, out of Falling Waters, West Virginia. I rarely get that right the first time, James. It's a lot of words and I talk fast, but that's where he's coming from, man. And then we got a new person on the panel tonight, a new guest. I asked him earlier this week to hop in and stick his head in. We got, you don't mind if I introduce you as Pastor, do you? I already said it, huh? Yeah, Pastor Leslie Conyers. He's in San Antonio, Texas, by way of Sumter, South Carolina. I had to say that. So, and then you have yours truly, Eric McKinley, hailing out of currently out of Columbia, South Carolina. So as y'all get on, like I said, do me a favor, drop your city, state. We got Miss Nikki on as well. She just jumped on, and we got Tony Clopton out of Birmingham just hopped on. So once again, guys, we're going to get started. So y'all know that April has been coined as Financial Literacy Month. Okay. I don't seem like I'm excited because we talk about financial education and literacy every day, right? Every day. So you can choose to do it once a month or once a year per month if you want. But I think financial education and literacy is something that we need in our lives. Okay. And we've having these cash flow conversations on a regular basis, probably for about 2 months now, I think, roughly there about ish. And along with other people having their businesses and they're sharing financial education, helping people to become literate in our communities, our circles. Everybody on this call is an owner of something. Okay, everybody on this call is an owner of something. Whether they want to, and as you see this call, you're going to realize you are an owner of something, whether you want to admit it or not. But you have to understand that there's things that we need to do, procedures and things that we need to do to increase our cash flow. So tonight's call, we're talking about a form that a lot of people are having some issues with. And I guess we can say that Wednesday, James, we had like a dry run, huh? Had like a dry run on Wednesday. You know, we still talked about it. We still talked about it. Now I got an idea of how some people feel about what we're talking about, but that ain't gonna stop the flow of the conversation. I'm gonna keep on hitting you with it. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And I know, Pastor, you're new to the call, but you're not new to the information. So I'm just gonna go ahead and share my screen. And what we have right here is we have some content that was created to kind of help the audience along, and also us as well. It kind of gives us opportunity to kind of get involved and see what's going on. So let me see. There you go. Let me get this thing together, y'all. Don't mind me. I'm all over the place. Y'all say this guy got it together and he ain't got it together. Here we go. We back in there. He's back in there. All right. From the beginning. Okay, so this is Talking Finances with NBB. Like I said, my name is Eric McKinley, Director of Program Development of National Business Builders. And every Wednesday and Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're talking about finances. Why are we talking about finances? Because that's something that everybody needs to know. It's not discussed in school, maybe a little bit more now than it was when I was growing up. It's not discussed in church as much, and it's definitely not discussed at a lot of dinner tables. Now, I don't know what's going on at your house, at your table, but I know for me personally, we didn't talk about money like that. You know what the conversation we had about money was? Money don't grow on trees. That costs money. Stuff like that. Don't waste that money. Those are some of the conversations that we had. But ironically, I can remember my mom. My dad is a vet. He's retired. He got hurt in Vietnam years ago. So he's 100% disabled. So he was retired already. And I can remember my mom retiring at the age of 53. And their lifestyle didn't change. Their lifestyle didn't change not once. So they obviously knew something, right? But we just didn't have that conversation. So anyway, check it out. Now or later. Anybody remember this candy? Y'all remember this candy?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
We used to call this candy Nihilators. Y'all remember that? Nihilators. I don't know. Y'all grew up, man. I grew up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We used to call this candy Nihilators. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong. There's nothing in the verbiage that says Nihilator, right? But that's what we used to say. Huh?
Say not one bit.
Not one bit, right? There's no now or later. It says now and later, right? Mm-hmm. But I brought this up because we have options. If you have a job, you have an option. So the question is, do you want your money now or do you want it later? What am I talking about? Well, introducing the Form W-4. This is a form that a lot of people have never, ever taken the time to figure out. Once again, I'm very clear with my verbiage. This is a form that a lot of people have not taken the time to figure out. See, if you have a job, you're going to get issued this form if your job takes out taxes for the government, on behalf of the government. Let me get that right. They take out taxes on behalf of the IRS if that's what type of job you have. But bottom line is this form changes every year. And I believe, like I said on Wednesday, I believe the form changed tremendously in 2020. Anybody know what changes took place in 2020? Okay.
No, I'm not tracking.
Okay. Anybody knows what changes took place on the form in 2020? Because it was a major overhaul. There was a couple of things on this form that employees had advantages to take. Remember?
Yep.
I think it was exemptions, right? There was something on page, I believe it was page, was it 3, James? 3 or 4? Because this is a 4-page document. But there was we used to get at least $4,000 in personal exemptions per family member and individual, right? That's changed.
Right. Yeah, that changed. That changed roughly. I think it might have been a couple years prior to that, but yeah.
Okay, so that changed. That changed like in 18, right? Okay, then the other thing that this form changed from putting a single or, putting a number in how many allowances that we were going to claim. it changed from that to putting a dollar amount. I don't know if anybody noticed that, because there's a lot of people still using the old form, right?
That's correct.
A lot of companies are still using the old form. So real quick, when was the last time that you looked at your W-4? Be quite honest. Last year for you? Okay.
Well, but you told me to.
Okay, touche. So prior to that, when was the last time you addressed it?
Can't remember. Just whenever you get, hired into a new job, I guess.
Yeah, and that's usually the only time that people really look at it. Mostly, not everybody, but mostly, right? When they change jobs, usually people look at this form. And for me, I hadn't looked at the form I think I came back into the military in 2001. And that's when I looked at the form in 2001. So prior to that, they were just killing me in taxes. Mm-hmm. But this form can be somewhat confusing, and it can be a confusing conversation, but it doesn't have to be. Not with the proper education. What about you, Tina? When was the last time you checked this form out prior to getting access to this information? I got to be specific.
Oh, when I started my job after I retired from the military. So that would have been in 2014. So from 2014 till the end of 2019.
And what about you, James? Before having access to this information, when was the last time you checked this information out?
Really? So it was actually in the same year, because my daughter had came, and my son had came. Actually, yeah, he actually came that year, and I was fortunate because somebody actually had told me.
Yeah.
I was fortunate. Somebody had told me, and if they hadn't told me, there would have been nothing I would have done with it. So I think later on in the year was when I got the information. But prior to that, I think it might have been 2012 when I got married.
Wow.
So there was definitely a gap in years. I didn't even know what I was supposed to be looking at it.
And most people don't. Most people don't say. So we got a Miss Donna Brundage, Mr. Mario White, Miss Lillis Lumpkins, and Miss Valerie Norfolk. Hey, thank y'all for jumping on. Appreciate it. Like it, share it, tag somebody, drop the city and state. So we're talking about the form W-4. And this is a form that a person who has a job where their job is taking taxes out, right, of their checks, they have to fill this form out. Now, if you are a 1099, you won't be filling this form out. If you're a contractor or self-employed, you won't be filling this form out. But if you have a job where the government, or excuse me, I want to be correct, where you're telling your job how much money to take out of your check in taxes to give to the government, then you're gonna have to fill this form out. So that's why we're talking about this. So this is the form W-4 continuation. It's the second page. Now there's a total of 4 pages. Now here's the thing. What happens is, let me go back. Usually what happens is we see this form right here. I'm gonna make this big so everybody can see it. There's no instructions. Pretty much there are instructions as far as like it talks about multiple jobs or spouses, dependents and things like that. But there's no general instructions on the first page. It talks about your name, your address, your filing status, your social security number. People get really excited because they know that stuff. But the general instructions are actually on the second page. They start on the second page right here. And I'm gonna put this on. I want to put this up for a minute, okay, right here. This is coming straight off of the IRS website that I downloaded, and I want you to pay attention to right here. Where am I at? Now I don't want to see it. I'm going to bring it up. I'll bring it up. But these are general instructions, okay? These are general instructions, and this is where it starts. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you read the instructions before filling this out, okay? I'm going to bring the form up right before we change over, but I want to share this with you, okay? Get this back together. There you go. Now, not many people know this, but the W-4, like most of the forms, come with complete instructions. Complete instructions, okay? Complete. The drawback is for this form, most of the instructions are written in a language that's a little bit difficult or challenging. Let's say challenging to understand. If you don't understand the language, then we may get off track right? We may get frustrated and not even worry about it. Mostly what happens is people are often sometimes so much in a hurry to get started working because they got a job. They're excited they got a job. They ain't worried about it. They're just gonna put whatever they got to put on it, turn it in, and then go ahead and get started working. Now, filling the form out correctly can be a challenge. I got to get my verbiage together. It can be a challenge. If you look at the picture right here, the guy walked up and said, "Hey, you got my taxes figured out yet?" I thought that was a funny video. I mean, a funny picture. He's working looks like a real difficult math problem, right? I know a lot of people feel like that when they're trying to fill this form out. They just so confused, they scratching a hole in their head, trying to figure out how to fill the form out. But really, it can be both scary and stressful. Just like everybody else, human resources, they also struggle with this form. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you something, and correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody jump on, correct me if I'm wrong. Human resources is not responsible to tell you how to correctly fill this form out. They're not. And I think it's a conflict of interest that they tell you if they even try to help you. First off, am I right?
Yeah, they're just supposed to make sure you fill it out.
Yeah.
They're supposed to make sure you fill it out. They're supposed to collect it.
That's it.
If we lean on them to fill out some paperwork, that is our responsibility, and they tell us something incorrectly, they can get stung. But you got to realize it's not their responsibility, it's ours. But with the proper education, the right guidance, you can actually fill this form out with confidence and fill it out correctly. So what happens is, and we were talking about this, I'm gonna give you a chance, James, because I'm not gonna steal your thunder. But you chime in whenever you get ready. You said yesterday, Wednesday, you said a lot of people don't look to understand the form. I think that's what you said. I don't wanna mix words or anything, but I think a lot of people don't, like you said, they don't look to understand the form. They just want to get it finished, get it completed, and be done with it so they can get started doing whatever they got to get started. Because they don't understand how powerful this form is to their job, to their pocketbooks, to their wallets, to their livelihood, right? So a lot of people, let's say you get to the point, Cortina, and you say, you know what, I got my form filled out, I'm ready to fill my form out. Previously with the 2019 and previous form, we could just put numbers on there. Has anybody else had this conversation? How many do you claim? Mm-hmm. And they're asking about that on your W4. Y'all ever heard that? How many do you claim?
Oh yeah.
What are they talking about? How many do you claim? What are they talking about?
They actually are referring to people when they say that. I used to use that verbiage. I'm claiming myself and I'm claiming my son.
Yeah. Well, what I learned and with the education that we provide, what I learned was it's not about dependence. Mm-hmm. Because that's the terminology. We talked about this previously. If y'all missed that training, you can go back on National Business Builders page and you can just scroll down till you see a Wednesday or Friday. But we talked about dependence versus I think we talked about dependence. Yeah, we talked about dependence. And that's a dependent. How many do you claim? This form is for allowances. And everybody's situation is different. Ms. Donna said, what are they talking about? They don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're talking about. No, they're talking about that though, Ms. Donna. When they had the old form and you could put, a number, you would see people put, there were people that would put, as much as 10. I know somebody told me they put 99 on their W4. 99. But they're doing that because they know that their job is taking out a lot of money out of their checks. And by taking a lot of money out of their checks, oftentimes people know they need that money, but they don't know how to correctly capture that income. They don't know how to correctly stop those holes in their pockets from getting bigger and bigger. So what they do, they stand around the water cooler and they say, hey, somebody told me that you can claim 9 for 6 months and then you can go back and claim 0 for another 6 months and you'll be even. Well, here's the problem with that. And this is just, just a little education. Here's the problem with that. You can do whatever you want to do on your W-4. However, you have to have a justification for changing it, correcting it, or adjusting it. And what happens is every time you fill that form out, and if you don't have the proper justification, what happens is the IRS gets alerted. Why do they get alerted? Because the form has to be turned into the IRS. You're not just turning the form into your job. And that's why I think a lot of people thought, well, I'm just turning it to my job. No, once you submit that form to your job then is supposed to submit that form to the IRS. And what happens is if they see all these changes, especially drastic changes, then they're going to question it. That's called a red flag. A red flag comes up. So you can change that form. And let me open this up. I want to show y'all this. Give me a second. And y'all feel free to chime in, man. Y'all got any questions or comments y'all want to share or add?
No, I don't, man. This is good so far. This is good.
So thanks. So let's see. Right here. This is what I want to share. I want to try to find it on the other form, but I think I may have grabbed the wrong form. So woe is me. Woe is me. Okay. So y'all see this? Am I sharing this? Probably not sharing it right now.
No,
I'm gonna go back in. And I'm going to did I lose y'all?
No.
There I go.
No, I'm
okay.
still here.
Yeah, don't worry about me, man. I've been out in the yard all day in the sun. I stuck my feet in the pool for a little while, and I've been all over the place. So just bear with me. Here we go. So here, now we should be able to see this. Right here. This is page 2. This is what I was trying to show you. This is page 2 of the W-4. Okay. And it says the purpose of the form. Complete form W-4 so that your employer can withhold the correct federal income tax from your pay. It goes on to say that if too little is withheld, if not enough is taken out, then generally you're going to owe when you file your tax return, and you may owe a penalty. Let me stop right there. Everybody has a tax bill starting 1 January. Everyone has a tax bill starting 1 January. So this verbiage to me, if too little is withheld, generally you will owe. Well, you already owe. Okay. It's our responsibility to fill the form out correctly so we can keep as much money as we can legally and not have a large tax bill at the end of the year and not have them owe us too much at the end of the year. That's how it's technically supposed to work. However, everybody has their own thing. Next, it says if too much is taken out, then you will generally be due a refund. How many people out there like refunds? By a show of hands in the audience or even on the panel, how many people out there like refunds? I know I used to like refunds. I was that guy. Hey, give me an old fat refund and I'm happy. Mm-hmm. I'm like a kid in the candy store, And there's still a lot of people out there who like refunds, but just so you understand this, refund is simply you getting some money that you overpaid back. And that money is not worth the same amount of money that you overpaid at that time. Meaning, real simple, meaning that if you overpay from January 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2021, and every month inflation affects your money. Miss Donna said she likes refunds. Hopefully after this you may have a different taste in your mouth. After every month inflation affects your money. Okay? Now at the end of the year, and that you get that W-2 and now you're ready to file your taxes, let's say maybe everything goes well, James, February? Right. They're ready to file the taxes, right? Then you may get a nice chunk of money back, but inflation has eaten into that money. So let's say throughout the year you've given away $6,000, but you actually only owed $2,000. I'm gonna say that again. You gave away $6,000, but your actual tax bill was only $2,000. That means that you gave away $4,000 too much. Does that make sense, y'all?
Makes sense.
Absolutely.
So now, from January 1st to December 21st, December 31st, that $4,000 accumulation is not going to be the same value in March, April, or May of the following year when you get that money back, because inflation is going to have eaten into that money. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, think about it. By the time you get that refund back, bread is going to be more. Yep. Gas is going to be more. That orange Fanta or that strawberry soda that you like is going to cost more. That Snickers bar is going to be a quarter more. Inflation eats into our money. So it says that if too much is withheld, you're going to be doing refund. Fund money. You're just getting your own money back. And it says to complete the Form W-4 when changes to your personal or financial situation would change the interest of the form. Basically, it's saying you can fill this form out anytime you got a personal situation that changes or a financial situation. Meaning, if you get married in 2012 like James did, right?
Right.
You go from single to married. Now you got dependents as well. And now you can change that form. If you have a child, you could change that form. If you get divorced, you need to change that form. If your child is no longer qualifying dependent, that form needs to be changed. And if you become a business owner, or even if you are an active investor or you're investing, that form can be changed. So there's some situations where the form can be and should be changed. The problem is most people don't know this education, this part of education. And because they don't, what ends up happening is they end up losing valuable dollars. Remember, your dollars have value. If they didn't, Uncle Sam wouldn't want them. The feds wouldn't want them, talking about the banking system, and big business wouldn't want them. Money's got value. The problem is many of us don't know how much value our money actually has. Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a moment. So that's what I want to share with you. And I know we didn't do that on Wednesday, James. I had to do something different for you, man. You was like, okay, let me stop the share. So come on back in, y'all. Come on back in. So Cortina.
Yes.
So we were just about to jump on. This spot about where do I get started? Because a lot of people are going to want to know how they fill out the W-4, this new one, right? This one that looks different. They're going to want to know how to fill it out. Well, this is what I'm going to share with you. And then I'm going to let the expert take over if he don't mind. I'm going to share this with you. I'm going to let the expert take over. So check this out. Where do I start? Well, it's real simple. Step one. This is how we do it. And this is how we want to share with you. You want to go to your web browser. Go online. You can go through Google or whatever web browser you use. If you use Safari, you can go through Safari. And you can type in irs.gov. Okay, that's the official site, irs.gov. Step two, what you want to do is that's the website that's going to populate. Of course, it's a whole page, y'all. So I just copied this so I can make it fit on my slide, but it's a whole page. And what you want to do next is you want to type into this search box IRS withholding calculator right there. IRS withholding calculator. Why? Because that's what we use to estimate almost to the T closely, all right, how much taxes we actually owe. Step three, the tax withholding estimator instead of calculator, but it's going to be more things to choose from, and I just wanted to get you straight to it. But right after that, what's going to happen is you're going to click on this. This is going to be a hyperlink. You're going to click on the tax withholding estimator. Step four, this is what's going to come up once you click that. And it talks about the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act and what the things that's changed. Okay. Once you get there, you're going to click on tax withholding estimator. And this is the page that's going to come up in step 5. It tells you before you begin, And it tells you the things that you need to do before you begin to actually fill this form out with accuracy, as close as you can. And I'm gonna bring something back up so you can understand why we're doing this, using this form. Okay, I mean using this format. And then the next one, after you click that last tab, this is the page that's gonna come up. Okay, this is the page that's gonna come up. And it says use your best estimates for the year ahead to determine how to complete the Form W-4 so you don't have too much or too little federal income tax withheld. Now you notice I said federal. This is not for state. Every state has their own form. Don't ask me why. I think it's that type of they want to do their own thing and they have the opportunity to do that. You know, they're governed by their own laws and stuff like that. So, but this is for federal, okay? So what I'm doing is I'm going to bring this back up because I want to show you why we use the estimator. I'm going to go back to Chrome, show you this W-4, and this is going to really resonate with you, okay? See right here, it says tip. Here you go, hold on. Right here, letter A. I know they tell you all these things and all this stuff. All I saw was this. Use the estimator at www.irs.gov/W4APP for most accurate withholding for steps 3 and 4. So if I can use it for the most accurate withholding for steps 3 and 4, I can use it for the most accurate withholding for everything. Why would I want like a semi-accurate withholding? You know what I'm saying? That don't make sense. Why would I want to kind of get close? I should want to get as close as I can. And that's why we use the IRS withholding calculator. See, reading is more than fundamental. Reading is necessary, man. And comprehension on top of that, we got to be able to understand, ladies and gentlemen, because if we don't understand, then we won't be able to make informed decisions. So, Mr. Hall, now that I've done that, I'm sure there's gonna be some people that got some questions. Now, before I tag you in, brother, because you are our tax expert. Mr. Hall he and his wife are professional tax preparers, and they handle a lot of clients throughout the country, and I would say the world because there's probably some DOD there's some DOD civilians that's working overseas that he's talking to as well. But I connected with him some time ago, and since connecting with him, he started a business back in 2017, and he's growing a monster of a business. And he when I started driving off the road, he kind of like straightens me back up. So what I wanted to do was I didn't want to show anybody on here live how to fill out the W-4. But I was going to ask you, how do you feel about going on the website and just kind of brushing through it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Necessary, not necessary.
Right.
Okay. So you want to take it, or you want me to go on and just walk? You can walk me through it. How about that?
Okay, we can do that.
Oh, can you share your screen? Can you share your screen?
Let's see.
So as he's doing that, I want everyone to know that's out there in social media land, we are financial educators, we're financial strategists, we're business owners, and we're professionals. Now, we're not bringing you on here to show you how to do anything. We urge you strongly that you get back with your tax professional, okay? You get back with your tax professional and your professional tax preparer, somebody you trust, and you enlist their assistance on getting your form filled out correctly. Or you can get with Mr. Hall, you can get with myself, you can get with Mr. Conyers, you can get with Ms. Trafford, or anybody who shares this information with you to get you straight, to get you connected and on straight and narrow. But we're not here to show you. This is something that should be done one-on-one or in a more private setting. But we just want to give you some education. Go ahead, James.
All right, and just to touch base on something that you said, and kind of be brief, so we can all discuss. I did not know until I started studying information that if you fill out your W-4 and you got 10 half the year and 0 the other half, that's actually a criminal offense. It's called fraudulent withholding exemption certificate. and you could be fined up to no more than $1,000,
$1,000,
or in prison not more than 1 year, or both.
Anybody like jail? Orange jumpsuits, or
So I think it's prudent to mention that, because there's a lot of people who've been doing it, and clearly we haven't heard about a whole lot of people getting jail time. So that's what you call grace and mercy, because if everybody knew that, they probably wouldn't be doing it. So the IRS and the government knows that people need their money. They need the cash flow. They're willing to do anything to get it. So, I mean, we talk about this form. If you're willing to do anything to get the money that you know you should have, because you got a financial plan that you have to run, then you should have a tax plan. We're talking about the withholding estimator. And we just talked about and showed you on the form itself that you have to be able to calculate estimates. So if you're going to be able to calculate estimates, then you have to have a plan for how you're going to be able to base these estimates off of. This should not be a kind of a one time a year kind of thing that you just look at taxes. If taxes come out continuously all throughout the year, then you want to have a game plan that you can monitor all of it with throughout the year, so that you don't have any unpleasant surprises at the beginning of the year. But, just to go over this briefly, it's going to ask you basic questions about yourself. We get a lot of clients who do have issues filling out even an estimator. And like you said, Eric, reading ain't just fundamental, it's a necessity. You got to get the comprehension. So you got to know what your filing status is. You're going to fill out your filing status, right? Do you have any dependents? Are you claiming anybody on your tax return, and what are their ages to be able to determine if they are a qualifying child or a qualifying relative? How many jobs do you have? That's going to be very important, because the reality is if you have 2 different jobs, it's going to be taxed 2 different times. And the calculation has to take that into account. If you have a pension, you want to be able to put this in too. So just to be clear also, regardless of whether you have a W-2 or W-4, this is a great tool to be able to use to see, are you withholding enough taxes throughout the year? And then you can look at, if you're getting Social Security benefits and so forth, and see if anything is applicable to you. Then they want to know about your income and withholding. Now, you got to have a pay stub handy. It's the only way you're going to be able to determine what information you put on here. So the frequency you got paid, your last pay period, how much total wages. I talk to a lot of people, they don't know how much they're earning for the year. I think it's very important that even as you get a raise, you have a proper understanding of how much money are you actually making. Some people are surprised when I tell them, hey, you actually made over 100 grand. And they're like, well, where did it went? And that's the whole goal, right? You got to know where your money is going to be able to track it. So then, how much taxes withheld year to date, the pay period, are you contributing, and so forth. So you just kind of read and see what's applicable to you and put the necessary information. Adjustments. Now, most people don't have a lot of adjustments to income. And to be honest, this is why they pay the most in taxes. If you don't have anything to adjust, there's something called gross income, and then there's adjusted gross income for a reason. You want to adjust it so that you can keep more of your money. But for this example, they don't. Then you look at the deductions. We were talking about that earlier in a different, I think last week, whether you're going to itemize or take the standard deduction. And then you just basically filling this out. This person didn't have any dependents, so they got no tax credits. And then go and voila, look at the results. Look at the results. For people who like a big refund, this might seem like, a God-given gift and a blessing. But the reality is, God wants us to be better managers and stewards of the resources he provides us. And part of being a better manager and steward of the resources he gives us is that we don't oversubscribe to something that doesn't give us anything back. And a lot of people are oversubscribing their income to the IRS just to get it back 12 to 14 months later. And like I say, don't let it be 15 months, because then we start to complain and we get on social media and we bashing it and we complaining. And don't let it be 11 months, because that's a little too soon for me to get my money back.
So listen. You said some key things, man, and I hope that people were listening, because I had to take my earbud out and put it back in. You said that God wants us to be better managers and good stewards of our money. And it's going to be, let me kind of paraphrase. This is how I think, y'all, so don't judge me. And we have to, it's hard to be good stewards and better managers of our money if we oversubscribe to stuff that is taking our money. Oversubscribe to things. That can mean a lot of different things, man. That can mean a lot of different things. In this instance, you're talking about overpaying taxes, but let's go and take it a little bit further. Look at the things that you got going around in your household. Look at what's happening in your house. Would you have every light in your house turned on all at once? Would that make sense? Maybe to a child that might be fun, but as an adult who has the responsibilities of paying the bills and making sure the lights stay on, would you turn on every faucet in your home? That's oversubscribing, right?
Right.
Would you turn on every light, every faucet, click on every television, turn on every appliance in your home? What's going to happen? You're going to get an overload and things are going to start to pop. What's happening is people are getting overloads and their finances are popping like corn. The problem is they're not able to eat that pop. Oversubscribing. Now, we know that there's a lot of people, James, we talked about this on Wednesday. There's a lot of people in certain situations, it may not be prudent. It may not be beneficial for them to correctly fill out their W-4 and gather their money right now. The only way that I can think that it ain't prudent is if they're not mentally ready to accept the financial responsibility for managing their money. That's the only reason. Did y'all hear what I just said? When I was a kid, my mama used to give my money, my birthday money. When people give me birthday money, y'all remember, I'm the only one. I give money, mama grab that money. And she said, okay, babe, I got it for you. She's thinking, that's what the government doing with your money. And we 30, 40, 50, 60 years old. And I got to the point to where I told my mom, hey, Mom, I don't need you to keep my money. Let me get that from you, Now, I wasn't really ready, but still at the same time, you think about that scenario, a lot of that's happening. And people will get, some personalities will get upset, downright offended when you share this education with people about learning how to legally lower your taxes on your job so you can keep more of your money, so you can use that money and shift it to another department in your household that may need it, maybe grocery bill, maybe emergency fund, maybe debt elimination, maybe investment, maybe college fund for your kids, maybe just a little additional cushion money so you're not living paycheck to paycheck. See, I heard somebody say, Eric, stop telling people what to spend their money on. Stop telling people that. Well, I'm going to say this in front of God and everybody. First off, we have to be responsible. And if somebody sees me running out in the middle of the street, I'm not going to get mad if you yell at me and tell me to watch out for the car. I ain't going to stop and turn around until you stop yelling at me because you just saved my life. That's number one. Number two, if we as a community of people, not just in the African-American Black community, as a community of people, if we cannot police each other up. See, in the military, we were taught to police each other up, on spot correction. We can do it in love. We can do it in kind. We can do it tactfully. But if you don't want anybody sharing with you what you should be spending your money on, I get it. But let's talk about what you should not be spending your money on. Since you don't want me to tell you what to spend the money on, let's talk about where you can better put your money that's going to better get you and your family prepared for the future.
Hey, Eric.
Yes, sir.
I kind of equate it like this. So I believe God gave it to me like this when I was teaching in a Bible study. And we were talking about the concept of the reality is most people, and we were, before we came to this knowledge of this information, we're hearing and visually impaired. And the analogy that you gave is something that I was talking about months ago. The concept of that we are literally hearing and visually impaired, got the headphones on, got the shades on, but can't see. And we out there walking in the middle of the street, and we wonder why we bumping into every car. We wonder why we getting hit left and right. We got no defense system. And the best defense system for a lot of people is what you just said, is to have somebody who's on the sidewalk take us and pull us aside out of the traffic from getting beat up from life, from making decision after decision that don't yield the results that we want, that puts us deeper in the hole, and say, hey, this is the way that you need to do it. This is some advice that you can use. This is a better way to take the earphones off and the glasses off so that we can see and have a different perspective. So, I mean, I think it's important, you know, if we don't tell somebody, it's no different than faith, right? If we don't tell somebody that there is a better way, then how in the world are they going to know there's a better way? Because so many people are already on board with them on how to spend their money.
Oh, yeah. They on board. Hey, listen, this monkey's on their back. They catch him in the morning. Because, see, most people, the first thing they do in the morning is they get up, what they do. They don't say thank you, God. They don't sit on the side of the bed and you know, give thanks. They pick their phone up. You right. They pick their phone up, and the first thing they see is an advertisement on how to get your money. Then they click the television on. If that's not enough, they click the television on. See, I didn't learn, like you say, I didn't know this. I was just going through life, bumping around, just, you know, hey, I bumped around and I hit a couple of puddles. Thank God I didn't fall into the ocean, but I hit a couple of puddles and I didn't drown, but I was drowned in because a couple of times I fell face down. Y'all don't hear me, man. And all I had to do was get up. I was face down, breathing in water. All I had to do was get up. But there's a lot of times we don't know that there's more people out there, like you said, that are campaigning for us to spend our money than there are for people who are campaigning for us to build something with our money. I was talking to a gentleman today, and we were talking about financial education. And he was saying that, you know, he wanted to get his finances together. You know, I'm not going to go into detail. Definitely not going to say any names because that's not professional. But he mentioned that he talked to someone at the bank. He lost me then. I was lost. I ain't understand nothing he said after that. But he talked to someone, and this is what we have learned. He talked to someone at the bank, and the person told him at the bank, well, when you get ready to get your stuff together, come on down and we'll show you this and we'll show you that. The bank ain't about to educate you. First of all, the bank don't have any money. I need everybody to understand that. The money that the bank has now is your money. And they're using your money at a higher percentage rate to loan your money back to you. How do they do that? How can somebody loan something that's yours back to you in that sense? And that's what's happened. We've come accustomed to trusting titles, trusting entities, trusting things and people and places that have been shoved upon us to say, hey, listen, this is where you need to be. This is what you need to be looking at. See, the banks don't love you. Big business doesn't care about you. And the government, to be honest with you, they putting this money in your pocket called stimulus to stimulate the economy. Their economy, not yours. Don't ever get it twisted, man. There's things that we can do to improve and enhance our own lives and the lives of the people in our circle, our family, close friends, and it just spreads like a rock in a pond, right? That ripple. There's things that we can do, but we must first open our mind. I think we must first open our mind to a different way. Perception, right? There's more than one way to skin a cat. There's more than one way. And I played it back to him, man. I said, so what you're telling me is that the bank told you that when you get ready to get your finances together, to come on down and they was going to share some education with you. That's what they told you? I said, really? Does that really sound right? And hearing it from me, he started thinking, dude, that's not going to happen. We have to stop putting our trust where it doesn't belong. We have to start trusting but verifying. There's a lot of information out there. You say a lot, James. You know, we don't know what we don't know, right? So how do we know what we're doing is right or wrong? That's a good question. But I'm gonna tell you, I know where it starts. It starts in the Word. Anything we want to learn is already in the Bible. There's instructions. I'm excited, man. I get excited when I talk about it because there's instructions on how to live. There's instructions on how to live in the Bible until we die. Somebody gonna hear it later on, man. Hey, listen, this is about 10 minutes till, 9 minutes till, 9 minutes till. Today on our leaders on our team call, I talked about 1 Corinthians chapter 3, 6 through 8. And I want y'all to think about this, okay? I want y'all to think about this. You can do whatever it is that you want to do. You can set all the plans that you want to set. It does not matter. But the increase is only going to come from one place. You still got to do your part. One plants, one waters, but only God gives the increase. And I want everybody to understand, man, that we're not here to badger you. We're not here to badger anybody. We're here to educate, to share information, to hopefully reach somebody who is looking for something different. Maybe even challenge something that somebody may have told you that just may not make sense. You know, we ain't a part of a personal group that talks about, you know, land and investments and all this other junk. We're a part of a public group that talks about how to build wealth. You don't gotta, you know, have no secret knock or no secret handshake or nothing like that. It don't take all that. It doesn't. All it takes is for you to ask, man. That's all.
Well, Eric, check this out too, man. I want to drop another scripture, you know, 1 Corinthians 10 and 23. And it's something that, you know, God has been really working with me on. Everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial and promotes God's character. So the reality is everything is something we can do. We can do it. We don't have to do it because we got the concept of free will. But the reality is not everything puts us in the level of abundance that God wants us to be. So let's tie it back to the W-4. We can do it or we can't. We don't have to. We can get our refund later. Everything is permissible. But the reality is, in terms of managing our resources well, it will make sense that not only do we get the money that we're due up front, but we will learn how not to destroy the blessing that God has given us. Too many people are destroying the blessing. They get the seed and somebody watered it, but they go ahead and eat it. They go ahead and throw it in the garbage. They go ahead and discard it. Everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial to put us where God wants us to be. And if we start changing our mindset and shifting our heart for His and shifting our life for His, we start to understand that there's some things that we are doing in terms of resources that we could be doing better. Everything comes better when you yield to the word.
You said a mouthful, man. But I you know, so if y'all just getting on this call, man, we're talking about everything goes back to increasing our cash flow, and we were talking about the W-4. And if you don't know my personality, I like to have fun, man. Something you said, James. You said, you know, plant, water, and you eat the seed, right? I did a video this morning about my garden, and it was funny because, you know, I can eat them plants out there right now. I can eat the plants right now, but it ain't ready to harvest. It hadn't produced a harvest yet. It's in the process of producing a harvest. I can eat the plants right now, but if I eat the plants, they haven't produced more seeds. Therefore, if I eat the plants now, I've eaten my future seed. Wow, man. It's so, if you break it down, it makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. So we got 5 minutes before the hour. This is the time that we go around the table. We do a round robin. And Miss Cortina, what would you like to leave with the group, with the audience?
I would say this from, you know, the last year and a half, almost 2 years. I've never really correlated the scripture with saving my money, besides just praying. But once I came into this circle, I started looking more at the biblical sense of how to better manage my finances. And I would tell you that since I've been doing that, it has put me in a better state of mind. And it's like you said, James, it's not really just talking about, the W-4. It everything works together. Because I found out once I felt comfortable and felt relief that I was managing my household efficiently, I start being more productive in other areas of my life. So to the audience out there, we are on here, quite often talking about finances. So I just encourage you all, if you're out there listening, to just be a part of some type of circle. I'm glad for my circle. You need to find a circle that we always say that's going to force you to level up, especially if you're a believer. If you in this type of circle where you're learning about wealth and then you're also correlating that with scripture, that's a plus as well.
And I didn't expect that. She tricked us, James. I didn't expect that. All right. So that was awesome, man. Now you're right. That was awesome. I mean, once you started, you started seeing some improvement in that area, it took the stress off some things, didn't it? Mm-hmm. It gave you the opportunity to focus on other things, and you were able to perform better in other areas. So I love that. Pastor, what would you leave? Not to put you on the spot, but this is what we do. And if you don't have anything, that's cool too. But if you have something to say, what would you leave with the audience and with the group?
Hey, so first of all, I'm just glad to be here tonight. Thanks for inviting me to come on. I mean, obviously, I can probably talk all night about the Bible, right? But starting out with the financial part, and then of course tying that into the Bible, is key, right? So what I will leave tonight is this, right? So there's four levels of wealth. There's four levels of wealth. The first level is relationship with God. The second level is our character. The third level is how we use like the power, how we manifest the power of God. And the fourth level of wealth is money. The fourth level of wealth is money. The first three levels of wealth, without them being in place, the fourth level of wealth becomes um, almost a trap, because you don't know how to use your money if you don't have character. You don't know how to use your money if you're not allowing for the power of God to operate and work through you efficiently. And if you don't have a revelation of God, then you don't have a revelation of really what money is, because to most people, their money is their God. And really, wealth is the fourth level of wealth. So if the only thing you've got to boast about is your money, you're essentially poor, because revelation is the highest form of wealth. And so for me, I know this whole past year, for me, my prayer has always been, I want to know God in a way that I've never known him. I want to obtain a character and to possess a character that is pleasing to God. Then the things that God began to give me and put into my put under my responsibility, I want to use that right and do that right. And then what reciprocates is what we need here on this earth in order to buy, sell, and trade, which is money, which is still the fourth level of wealth. And so, what I will leave, of course, with the audience is to know God, and then allow for God to change your character, and then allow for the Spirit to use you in order to achieve the fourth level of wealth, which is financial gain.
Yeah, I walked right into that trap. I knew you had something to say. Awesome. No, awesome. And it makes so much sense. It gives us another angle, another perception to have, and it makes us realize what is most important. Mr. Hall.
I gotta go behind that. No, I'm free.
Well, You ain't the only one.
That actually falls in line with what God gave me. The priorities of living a life on God's terms. You know, God, family, health, and wealth. And we got wealth at the bottom because it doesn't matter. What does a man profit if he gain the whole world and lose his soul? The whole point is God gave us the gifts and he gave us the talents. He gave us the resources. He gave us the understanding. He gives us the wisdom. He gives us the perspective to be able to make the changes and to understand how to live a life of abundance. And we don't get that life of abundance. We may get the wealth, but the reality is if we don't have the instructions on how to keep it, we lose it anyway. And we see that as an example consistently throughout time, that if we get the wealth before we have the instruction, it goes right on to somebody else because money is going to make somebody wealthy and it normally ain't us. So I just say, you know, it's the W4. It's a powerful financial tool. We got to learn how to use it. And if we can't sow the time into understanding it, then we don't want the wealth that we seek.
Okay. All right. And I'm not going to say anything but thank y'all. You know, I'm not going to try to go back behind any one of y'all because y'all just, you know, I'm not going to mess that up. No, but listen, great conversation. Once again, great conversation. I hope everybody got some value out of the content that we shared. I remember someone asking me, how can we tie in biblical principles and the worldly principles of money? And there's no comparison. It started with biblical principles. Mm-hmm. There's no comparison. You know, everything that we want, we need, we desire comes from one place. Now, this is not, you know, people say, you know, don't talk about, you know, religion, you know, we talked about this past. Don't talk about religion in your business and this, that. I don't care. You know, if you don't like what's going on, you know, hey, this ain't the call for you. You know, this ain't the call for you. But we got to put God in everything. In my house, we put God in everything first.
I would say this is the call for them.
Yes, sir. It's where they need to be here. But if you don't like what's going on, just keep on listening. Keep on watching. It's gonna get better, right? It's gonna soak up. We got to put God first, man. If we don't put God first, and we out here chasing these gods, we're gonna run into a brick wall. We're gonna step into a hole that looks like a puddle, but it's gonna go straight down. We're only here to share, educate, and hopefully to improve your thought process or the way that you think about different things. If you're looking to live by the word, leaving an inheritance for the children's children. And in order to do that, we have to sow some time in understanding how money works. As James said, we have to sow some time there. So, hey man, I had a ball. It's plum pleasing pleasure to have everybody on the call. I appreciate y'all always, you know, stepping up and showing up and showing out. We got Miss Quartina Trafford out of Huntsville, Alabama, Rocket City. We got Pastor Leslie Conyers III out of San Antonio, Texas, by way of Sumter, South Carolina. We got Mr. James Hall, JSC Financial Services out of Fallen Waters, West Virginia. And yours truly, Eric McKinley, calling in from Columbia, South Carolina. Hey, like I always say, ladies and gentlemen, when you know better, that's when you have the ability to do better. And the only knowledge that's powerful is properly applied knowledge. Like the call, share the call. Thank you, everybody, for getting on. Thank you, too, Miss Donna. Tag somebody. We're on this call every Wednesday and every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check our pages. We got events going on. Get with Mr. Hall. He is a professional tax preparer. If you're out there in San Antonio, San Antonio, you want to buy a house, get with Pastor Conyers. He's a real estate agent out there. He's about to be a broker. Yeah, I don't know if that's what he wants to be. Yeah, speak that in. If you're in Huntsville, talk to Miss Quartina. She can help you with several things, man. If you're looking for resumes, if you're looking for financial education, if you're looking for other types, I know I'm all over the place. I'm going in and out. Don't worry about me. I'm about to go. But just know that we're on the call to help, aid, and assist everyone Y'all have a wonderful weekend. Happy Financial Freedom Friday. Once again, thank y'all. And we'll see y'all at the top because it's too many
Thank you.
people struggling at the bottom. Peace.